Greetings, slackers. It is March 23rd, 2017, and I'm over here on RT with a article that I wanted to share with you. This is something that deals with everyone, but more especially women. Now, this doesn't have to deal with dating per se, but there's a part in here that brings up a very interesting topic. And so I'll circle back to that when I get to that point. But this is over on RT, women with genital herpes twice as likely to give birth to autistic child study. Goes on to state here that women who have a type 2 genital herpes infection during the early stages of their pregnancy are twice as likely to give birth to an autistic child, a new study has concluded. While not every woman infected with herpes is at risk of having a child with the neurodevelopmental disorder, the news is a cause of concern since the infection itself is widely spread. 1 in 5 American women carry the highly contagious and lifelong infection, often transferred through sex. Let me read that again. Take this down as a mental note. 1 in 5 American women carry the highly contagious and lifelong infection, often transferred through sex. Carried out by scientists at the Center for Infection and Immunity at Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health and the Norwegian Institute of Public Health, the groundbreaking study was published in the microbiology journal Elsevier. The study is the first of its kind to provide immunological evidence of a link between maternal anti-herpes simplex virus 2, HSV2, antibodies and autism spectrum disorder, ASD, in male children. The scientists used blood samples from 412 mothers of children with ASD and 463 mothers of children without ASD, taken at 2 points at around the 18th week of pregnancy and at birth. They were tested for antibodies to several common infections, including HSV2, which indicate that a patient fought off the infection shortly prior to the time the sample had been collected. Mothers who had HSV2 were twice as likely to give birth to a child with ASD than those who didn't, indicating a strong correlation. The authors say they do not believe the virus infected the fetus itself, causing ASD. As such, an infection would typically cause miscarriage. Rather, they suggest the risk comes from a primary or reactivation of the infection in close proximity to the womb. They also suggest that mothers with a certain genetic makeup rather than all women are at risk. Quote, "We believe the mother's immune response to HSV2 could be disrupting fetal central nervous system development, raising risk for autism," said lead author of the study, Melada Malhek. The correlation was only confirmed in boys because of the small number of mothers of girls with ASD included in the study. While there is not enough evidence to suggest the infection can only affect males, autism is generally more common in boys. The link was only evident in early pregnancy when the fetal nervous system undergoes rapid development, not at birth. Overall, the cause of most cases of ASD remains unknown and mostly likely. The disorder is a combination of both genetic and environmental factors, the study says. Further study is necessary to decipher if screening and suppression of HSV2 during pregnancy is needed. However, the team hopes these insights will, quote, "drive new efforts to monitor women more closely for cryptic gestational infection and to implement suppressive therapy during pregnancy." Now, this article covers a couple of points because let's just say you're a younger guy, you're hoping to establish a family one day. You meet some woman on an online dating site or on your college campus or at a bar. 9 times out of 10, she's going to have a history. A history meaning she's been sexually active. The biggest question is not how many sexual partners she's had, but how many of those sexual partners has she been unprotected with? Because let's go back up here in this one quote. 1 in 5 American women carry the highly contagious and lifelong infection, often transferred through sex. So if you come along and you think, oh, I'm getting lucky. I just met this girl. She wants to come back and chill. And what do you know? Oh, she wants to have sex. Well, if you go in there unprotected, chances are you can end up catching what she has: highly contagious and lifelong infection, often transferred through sex. I'm going to keep repeating that because I want you to think about a couple of things here. And this is where we get into a little bit of science, the science of anatomy, especially when it comes to a woman's anatomy. Women are what? Internal, they are wet, okay? And just to give you an example, this totally relates, but it's outside of the human body and relationships. But I used to be a home inspector, and when doing home inspections, I would have to look for moisture, the presence of moisture, because why? Mold and bacteria can thrive in moisture, okay? And that moisture could be not only damaging to the house, but it could also be an environmental factor affecting the home buyers. So I want you to think about that. Women have a moist environment. That moist environment is going to be prone to harbor bacteria and viruses, or the virus particles called virion. Um, but this is something that I want you to think of, because sometimes some of these STIs and STDs, they're asymptomatic, meaning that women could have it in their mucus vaginally. And while they may be a carrier of it, it may not affect them the same way that it will affect you with a penis going in there unprotected. What happens? You stick your penis in there, some of that vaginal fluid goes directly into the tip of your urethra. You know that hole that you piss out of? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And what ends up happening is, maybe a few weeks go by, you think, oh, nothing of it. Or I guess as many as a couple days go by, depends on how fast the incubation period is. And you go to take a whiz and it'll feel like you're on fire. Or better yet, you'll notice these strange pustules or things down there. I mean, I've heard the stories talking with other men. So I want to drop that on you as a cautionary tale, because no one likes to think about these things in foresight before they go out here. And yes, it's natural to want to be sexual, want to be sexually active, and have fun with the opposite sex. Women love sex just as much as men. That is true, but we have to be careful out here. And at least if you know ahead of time, you can make a conscious choice. I mean, hey, maybe catching a highly contagious and lifelong infection is something that you can deal with if she's going to be your partner for the rest of your life. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it for this article and this video. Share with me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you someone who's caught herpes from a woman? Are you a woman who has herpes and has passed it to other men? What are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below. And as always, that's going to do it for this video. I'll catch you in the next one.